When she was 20, this young woman accidentally stumbled into a den of wolves. The underlings were about to attack her, but their leader, Lai, declared that he wanted her. After forcing her onto a bed, Lai took off his shirt, revealing his toned physique. Terrified, the woman begged him to spare her, offering him any amount of money. But a moment later, he placed his feet on the bed, his hands on either side of her, and began doing push-ups. 1, 2, 3. Sweat soon drenched his stoic face, but he gritted his teeth and continued. The woman's heart began to flutter. It turned out, Lai was doing all of this to save her. She glanced at the calendar. It was July 14th. She wanted to remember this special date. Outside the window, one of Lai's men was having dark thoughts. Lai, with his preternatural senses, heard everything. He quickly turned and left. In the following days and months, he taught the woman self-defense. Gradually, she fell in love with this man. But tragically, Lai died saving her. Seeing the ship explode in the distance, she couldn't hold back her tears. It felt as though a piece of her heart had been ripped away. 5 years later, while on a blind date, she caught sight of a man who looked remarkably like Lai. He was holding a bouquet of forget-me-nots, braving the wind and rain as he walked towards her. Overcome with emotion, she immediately abandoned her date and chased after him. But when she finally caught up, she realized she'd been mistaken. Disappointment flooded her eyes. She had waited for him for 5 long years, refusing to believe he was truly gone. This woman's name was Neon Chu, an actress in the Highway Theater troupe. That day, the troupe leader gave her an assignment. He told her to convince a woman named Xiao Yan to join their production. Xiao Yan had repeatedly stood them up, causing the entire play to be put on hold. And this Xiao Yan was the same woman who had nearly gotten Neon Chu killed. Neon Chu went to the venue, where Xiao Yan was performing, and once again saw the man who resembled Lai. Panicked, she pushed through the crowd, searching for him, but he seemed to have vanished into thin air. Neon Chu had to humble herself and beg Xiao Yan to join the production, but Xiao Yan completely ignored her. In desperation, Neon Chu grabbed the microphone and announced that Xiao Yan would be joining their troupe, then showered her with praise. This put Xiao Yan in a difficult position, and she reluctantly agreed. Before leaving, Xiao Yan called out, "Li Teng." A man turned around. Neon Chu instantly recognized him as the man who had saved her years ago. Her heart pounded in her chest, but the man claimed she had the wrong person. What was going on? "I'm so sorry, you've mistaken me for someone else. Don't you remember me? Maybe you should drink less next time." Determined to prove that this man was Lai, despite her fear of water, Neon Chu jumped into the pool. Suddenly, someone dove in to save her, but it wasn't him. It was then she realized it was all a hallucination. Lai was standing by the pool, chatting and laughing with Xiao Yan. Neon Chu looked at him, her heart sinking. His eyes darted away, avoiding hers. Was he really not the Lai who had saved her? Filled with doubt, she turned to leave. Seeing Neon Chu's distraught state, Li Teng called out her name, worried. Hearing his voice, Neon Chu's heart skipped a beat. But then she saw Xiao Yan sitting in the backseat of his car, and her heart shattered. He wasn't the same Lai. In the car, Xiao Yan took the passenger seat next to Li Teng. "Will there ever be a day when you invite me to sit up front?" "No." "Why not?" "No personal conversations during work hours." Li Teng now ran a security company. If it weren't for work, he wouldn't even want to exchange a single word with Xiao Yan. But he remained silent. He didn't offer any further explanation. Meanwhile, Neon Chu's best friend speculated that he had either died and come back to life, or lost his memory. At the same time, Neon Chu's mother arranged another blind date for her. Neon Chu glanced at the profile. The code name was 714-700, and 14 the date she and Lai first met. Memories flooded back. Arriving at the date location, she was shocked to see that her date was the very man who had risked his life to save her when she was 20. He was also the man who had been waiting for her for the past 5 years. Yet the night before, this aloof man had convinced her that he and Lai were not the same person. Despite this, doubts lingered. She cut to the chase. "Have you ever heard of someone named Lai?" "Neon Chu, your blind date is me. My name is Li Teng. Don't mention other men in front of me." It was strange. This man was jealous of himself. Neon Chu pressed further. Your WeChat ID is 714. Does that number mean anything to you? It was the date of her first encounter with Lai. Li Teng's voice turned cold. Miss Nian, I am not a substitute for anyone. If your previous relationship wasn't good, and you're using me to look for someone else's shadow, I suggest you stop going on blind dates. He patted the passenger seat. Get in. Nian Chu hesitated. A moment later, Li Teng pushed her into the passenger seat. I don't have the habit of communicating through the rearview mirror with my dates. What a difference in treatment. Thinking back to his attitude towards Xiao Yan that day, Nian Chu was speechless. Will there ever be a day when you'll invite me to sit up front? Never. If he wasn't Lai, she'd eat her hat. Hearing that Li Teng and Xiao Yan only had a professional relationship, Nian Chu eagerly anticipated their next meeting. While he wasn't looking, she left her compact in his car, giving her an excuse to see him again. Li Teng saw it and smiled faintly. He was pleased with her little scheme. As she got out, Nian Chu asked if he had anything to say to her. He just drove off. How embarrassing. That evening, Li Teng texted her, asking her to meet him at a bar. He was bringing her compact. Her best friend's dating advice never failed. But unexpectedly, Xiao Yan used a similar tactic. What a coincidence. I dropped my compact in your car the other day. I figured I could pick it up today when I see you. Turns out dating tricks weren't so unique after all. But Li Teng's response couldn't have been more different. I was only responsible for your security. Until our next contract, I don't think we need to meet. Seriously? Nian Chu, why are you always losing things? Are refined young ladies resorting to these tricks to snag a rich husband? You misunderstand. Let's talk. They walked to the beach. Grateful for his earlier intervention, Nian Chu offered herself to him. Shall we give it a try? Aren't you trying to test whether I'm hat person? Their eyes met, a warm atmosphere enveloping them. You want to test me? Go ahead. To prove Li Teng wasn't Lai from her past, her friend advised Nian Chu to look for a scar on him. She remembered Lai having a large scar on his stomach, a wound she had helped him tend. So, she devised a plan. Determined to confirm Li Teng's identity, she was ready to do whatever it took. She recalled Lai's severe injury and the sizable scar. She had personally bandaged the wound. Now, all she needed to do was see that scar. You're hurt. Why don't you get some rest on the bed? Why would you want to sleep with me on the bed? Nian Chu used this as an excuse to invite Li Teng out, hoping to see the scar. While he was getting a drink, she purposely drenched his clothes. She said, I'll help you dry off. Seizing the opportunity, she unbuttoned Li Teng's shirt. Finally, she saw the scar. It was him. Lai. Why was he trying to hide his identity? Li Teng suddenly said he'd take her somewhere. Where are you taking me? To a hotel? What are we doing at a hotel? Didn't you want to see my body? I'll take my clothes off slowly for you later. Nian Chu came up with all sorts of ways to get Li Teng to admit he was Lai. She remembered Lai teaching her how to shoot, so she invited Li Teng to go shooting with her. Li Teng guessed what Nian Chu was thinking, so he said he was too tired today to shoot accurately. So he refused. She told him she would teach him. Li Teng got a little tipsy. The familiar feeling from years ago came back clearly. Aim straight from the center, keep your breathing steady, then pull the trigger. The balloons kept popping. That's a pretty good aim. Are you complimenting yourself? There's one bullet left. Let me see how. Lai taught you. His perfect shooting technique made Nian Chu even more certain that this man was Lai. Nian Chu started asking tricky questions. Why won't you admit you're Lai? Li Teng hesitated for a long time, then took Nian Chu to a mental hospital. A woman named Li Hua was lying in a hospital bed. This woman was the wife of Li Teng's good friend. Her husband died on duty, and her mental state became unstable. Now she doesn't even recognize her own daughter. Li Teng didn't want Nian Chu to become another Li Hua. Everyone knows that if Nian Chu smiles, Li Teng would give her his life. But outwardly, he had to be more patient than anyone else. This time, he came back to find the coin from the highway drama troupe that Nian Chu took years ago. He would leave after finding the coin. But who would have guessed they kissed the next day? How does a male god end up kissing you in just one day? The simplest, most direct way is to create almost imperceptible physical contact. Nian Chu asked Li Teng to teach her self-defense against stalkers, so they went to a training room. Li Teng quickly hugged Nian Chu. It was the first time she'd been so close to him, and Nian Chu was so nervous her heart pounded. Who could resist this? Learn carefully. If this happens, you must stay calm. Pull your arms down, use your strength, and push your abdomen back. If you're fast enough, you can escape. Try it. Even if Nian Chu used all her strength, she couldn't escape his warm embrace. A warm atmosphere enveloped them. Li Teng let Nian Chu hug him. Hug me, I want to show you. Nian Chu remembered what her friend had said. When kissing, your lips are the main thing, but your hands shouldn't just hang around. They should be around your partner's waist. Unexpectedly, this hug let Li Teng easily break free. So fast? Your turn. This time Nian Chu, using what she'd learned, quickly escaped his grasp, but due to inertia, she twisted her ankle and fell. To make progress in their relationship, Nian Chu slowly closed her eyes. Li Teng struggled to control himself. He quickly helped her up. Nian Chu, embarrassed, tried to change the subject. Do you want to? Li Teng could no longer control himself. He passionately kissed her. This is what he'd wanted for 7 years. He remembered seeing her beautiful, sad look years ago, and having to take a cold shower all night. Why would a man deeply in love not find you for 7 years? 5 years ago, saving Nian Chu almost cost Li Teng his life in a fire. Luckily, he survived. He suffered severe muscle weakness, keeping him in bed for 3 years. To see her again, he spent 2 years recovering. 2 years later, he carried her favorite forget-me-nots to confess his love. The flowers meant, "Please don't forget me," but then he got a call from his subordinate. They said the organization knew he was still alive. Approaching Nian Chu could endanger her. He could only watch from afar. The second time he looked for her, he found her went on a blind date. His heart ached, but her happiness was enough for him. He quickly left, but she chased after him. He cleverly ran to the second-floor railing. Fate brought them together again. Seeing her fall into the water, he was frantic, but outwardly remained calm, ordering his subordinates to rescue her. Seeing her disappointed look, Li Teng felt guilty and turned away. They thought they'd never see each other again, but Nian Chu had brought home the chip detailing the deal. Li Teng intentionally used a blind date to approach Nian Chu to get the chip back. Outwardly cold, he was actually nervous and excited. Here she is? Big brother, nobody shows up for a blind date an hour early. He adjusted his clothes and took a deep breath. He wanted to look his best for Nian Chu. As for Nian Chu, after Lai disappeared, she repeatedly tried to end her life. She went to the beach where they first met, praying Lai would save her again. But only her friend showed up. For 3 years, she had the same dream every night. She refused to believe the man she loved was dead. Thankfully, fate brought them together again. Unfortunately, a scheming girl who'd liked Li Teng since childhood appeared, trying to break them up. Nian Chu ran, but the hooligan caught up. He'd lusted after her for a long time and planned to assault her. Luckily, Li Teng arrived and beat up the hooligan. Dare to touch my woman? Li Teng relentlessly beat him. The hooligan cried, complaining that their years of brotherhood were nothing compared to a woman he'd just met. Nian Chu planned to escape, but Li Teng said, "Don't move. There are 8 mines along the mountain ridge." Terrified, she froze. Li Teng calmly sat beside her, placing a rock behind him. Still trying to run? Nian Chu realized she'd been tricked. Li Teng moved closer. His senses told him someone was watching. Embarrassed? Who said my woman should stay still? Only by following me can you survive. Seeing their intimacy, Washa plotted against Nian Chu, wanting to eliminate Li Teng's beloved. Li Teng hoisted Nian Chu onto his shoulder. Put me down. This whole forest is mine. There are traps and drones watching 24/7. Do you think you can leave alive? To get rid of Nian Chu, Washa secretly put the coin into the flowers. Li Teng gave Nian Chu, framing her. The hooligan, fueled by resentment, added to the problem. Ever since Washa appeared, things kept going wrong, but Li Teng protected Nian Chu. Washa, obsessed with the past, used the coin to lure Li Teng, then used a fake interview to get Nian Chu there. Li Teng arrived to find Washa lounging on a rose-filled sofa. He immediately demanded the coin. Where is it? How did you know about the coin? Knowing Neon Chu had arrived, Washa pretended to be affectionate towards Li Teng. She even claimed he only approached Neon Chu for the coin. Washa's goal was to break them up. Neon Chu's friend jumped up and scolded Li Teng, but the female lead's aura always overshadowed the supporting character. Neon Chu knew Li Teng well enough. We won't fall for it, but Washa wasn't easily reformed. Li Teng appreciated Neon Chu's trust, but to ensure her safety, he didn't mention the coin. He was afraid of telling her that the coin wasn't relevant. They argued, and the coin continued to bother Neon Chu. Washa sent a voice message asking if she wanted to know what Li Teng and she had talked about. To resolve her doubts, Neon Chu went to the meeting place. Washa suggested. She chose a seaside lighthouse because she knew Neon Chu feared water and intended to kill her. Washa tried to throw Neon Chu to the sharks. Li Teng appeared like a god. Washa jumped into the sea, but wait a sec. Before coming, Neon Chu had a backup plan. She'd sent Li Teng her location. Knowing he'd leave after getting the coin, and feeling she wasn't worth it, she sadly suggested breaking up. At karaoke she cried, remembering their happy times. Her heart felt torn apart. Li Teng didn't know what to do. He had so many responsibilities. Zhang Hao showed him Neon Chu's social media post. Bye-bye old lover. What happened next was even crazier. Li Teng rushed to the karaoke bar. He found Neon Chu passed out drunk on the sofa. He gently caressed her sleeping face. Li Teng and Neon Chu had a very intimate scene. Zhang Hao just bit his lip and smiled wryly looking at those two. Neon Chu questioned her ex-boyfriend. Li Teng said nothing. You dumped me, so let's break up. How to deal with an angry girlfriend? Kiss her, of course. Kiss her again if she still looks upset. The next day, when Neon Chu went out alone, Washa hired a perverted taxi driver to lure her to a deserted place. Neon Chu noticed something was wrong. Don't come near me. My boyfriend is nearby. Don't push it. I'm tired of hearing that. Yell all you want, just don't touch me. Unexpectedly, the self-defense Li Teng taught her came in handy. Using her waist, she pushed back, and with a sharp move, she escaped. While we were worrying about Neon Chu's safety, the driver was badly injured. Li Teng learned his girlfriend was in danger. He was sure it was Washa's doing. He slammed his fist on the table. I won't let her get away with this. For Neon Chu's safety, she insisted Li Teng become her bodyguard. Actually, Neon Chu's friend had her own motives. She had a crush on a handsome guy who worked for Li Teng. Fate intervened. Li Teng set up camp outside the theater. I'm here to protect you, specially invited by Miss Chiao. Neon Chu demanded a refund. Li Teng countered with, handsome isn't everything. In that case, I suggest a replacement. Unfortunately, Miss Ruan, other staff are booked for the next 2 weeks. And your order requires someone with my skills. It turned out the owner of Yuntai knew about the order. Every employee is responsible for fulfilling client requests. If you cancel, you'll have to pay a 75 million cancellation fee. Are you robbing me? I'm just following the contract. Neon Chu was speechless. To stir things up, she went on 3 blind dates in a row. She regretted it instantly. Who goes on blind dates with their ex-boyfriend? To spite Li Teng, Neon Chu went on 3 blind dates. In the future, trust me, my feelings for you will grow. But she brought a man along. What an original idea. One date was a disaster. The guy demanded his date to love his dog. Li Teng was ready. He looked at the dog and said, even if I'm not a human, you are definitely a dog. On to date number 2. Li Teng pretended to be happy and friendly, and the guy quickly left. One blind date was intended to annoy Li Teng, but it backfired. Li Teng knew that to win a girl, you have to win over her family. His future in-laws invited him for dinner. Li Teng smirked. He played the perfect, gentle son-in-law. A master of disguise in the world of dating. He successfully charmed his future in-laws. Don't worry, dear. Eat up, eat plenty, there's more. Your father's cooking is amazing. Better than any restaurant. Neon Chu, still bothered by the coin, ignored Li Teng. He was like a leech, always there to pick her up and drop her off. One day, a very handsome man appeared at the theater, Guo Ji, the new technical supervisor. and Nian Chu's college senior. Handsome, but scheming, he wanted the coin. Li Teng decided to crush his plans early. Men are just as petty. Li Teng is invincible. Thank you for taking care of the troop. No problem. Taking care of Nian Chu's troop is only natural. The air was filled with tension. The troop members were awkwardly silent. At home, Li Teng pleaded with Nian Chu. Nian Chu, be good, okay? I don't want you to get hurt. But Nian Chu didn't understand him. She'd had enough of this untrusting relationship. They argued and parted ways. Nian Chu deliberately got close to Guoji to force Li Teng to reveal the coin's secret, which enraged him. In the car, their eyes met, charged with tension. Li Teng asserted his dominance over his rival. A little help? What do you want? Nian Chu, you've made me yearn for you for years. Guess what I'm going to do? The jealous rage of a man is a terrifying thing. You're going to sit here? Nian Chu, embarrassed, left. Guoji went out to get her water. Li Teng snatched the bottle. I'm thirsty. He challenged his rival. Thank you. I want to talk. They went to the outskirts of town, a tense atmosphere heavy with unspoken threats. Jiang Hao worried about the fallout. This isn't my fight, he thought, and left. Only the two rivals remained. Learn some manners. Don't even think about touching my woman. Tonight, you're not leaving this room. Nian Chu is mine, but I'm increasingly interested in her. Li Teng knew Guoji's intentions were not good. He suspected Guoji was after the chip. He was determined to eliminate his rival. Li Teng secretly protected Nian Chu. Guoji used a play setting as an excuse to take Nian Chu to the ancient Jingzhen kiln to experience the main character's situation. He also tried to find out the coin's location. Li Teng interrupted them and took the opportunity to hug Nian Chu. Boss Li, you're a player. How many women have you taught this to? You're my first. Li Teng, knowing Guoji's true nature, used a coin to test him. Guoji revealed his true colors and hired assassins to kill Nian Chu. While Nian Chu was at the hotel, the assassin ambushed her. Li Teng returned to the hotel, knocking all day with no answer. His instincts kicked in, and he kicked the door open. The assassin used Nian Chu as a hostage. In a desperate moment, Li Teng winked at her. Nian Chu grabbed a pen and stabbed the assassin. Li Teng quickly knocked him out, but the assassin then pointed a weapon at Nian Chu. In a breathtaking 5-second move, Li Teng disarmed him. His bodyguard arrived, and the assassin fled, leaving a tracking chip in Nian Chu's bag. After this, Li Teng decided to tell Nian Chu about the chip on the coin. He took her to a secluded place in his luxury car and loosened his tie. Don't even think about it, I'll scream. Scream away, nobody's here. He blindfolded Nian Chu, saying he was taking her to a mysterious place. He took her to a dreamy field of purple flowers. Who wouldn't fall for this? Li Teng picked a bouquet for her and explained about the chip on the coin. I didn't tell you earlier because you were in danger. Actually, you were just curious, right? They reconciled. Let's try again. From now on, you're mine. The flower field was perfect for expressing their feelings. They stayed until evening. Suddenly, a group of thugs showed up. Li Teng secretly gave his girlfriend his car keys. Nian Chu ran to get help, but she was stopped by a thug. She fought back fiercely. She used pepper spray. Tough girl. But the car stalled, and her phone had no signal. Li Teng, outnumbered 3-1, unleashed his male lead aura. He took down one thug and grabbed his iron bar. 2 more thugs remained. Watch out, Li Teng warned him, hitting one with the bar. The assassin from earlier just watched. Seeing his underlings fall, he stabbed Li Teng. Li Teng was weakened and injured. Luckily, Nian Chu arrived. She used a weapon her boyfriend gave her to beat the assassin. She sprayed the remaining thugs with pepper spray. No favorites, everyone gets some. Don't spray. Okay, but tell me how you found us. She had a tracker. Li Teng admired Nian Chu's resourcefulness. I want some of that spray too. Nian Chu rushed to tend to his wound. Let me check. Take it easy, we can check it at home. A timely rainstorm hit. They took shelter in a cave. Li Teng's condition worsened. Nian Chu used her body to warm him. Don't. I can't control the pain. But it'll be cold tonight. Can you handle it? Whether I can or not, I want to try. Wrong time, right person. Li Teng fainted. Being nursed by his lover, even a deep wound would heal faster. As soon as he woke up, he tried flirting. But Nian Shu had an important performance that evening. Li Teng went to the theater with her. To let her perform without worry, Li Teng secretly watched her, despite his pain. Don't say anything. You don't have a staff pass. There's nowhere I can't get in. What are you doing? Let me test how strong my boyfriend is. I have to perform. Before she left, Li Teng told her to do well. After she left, he grimaced in pain. His wound throbbed for 3 hours, until her performance ended. He fainted. Luckily, he survived. A few days later, Nian Shu made chicken soup for him. How's your wound? It's not healing without you. You show up, and I'm 200% better. Let me see your wound. Are you going to undress me already? Don't be silly. Are you okay? Seeing the stab wound, Nian Shu worried, but Li Teng dismissed it. He asked if her health check was clear. Of course not. He accidentally spilled the soup on her. Just as they were about to become intimate, Zheng Hao interrupted. He sensed a dark presence. While reporting his work, he worried about his safety. The assassin, Duan Kun, was sent by an organization. Nian Shu, knowing Li Teng's true intention, said she needed to go home and change clothes. She said, "Give me a ride, Zheng Hao. We're not going the same way." Li Teng wasn't about to let his prey, pursued for 5 years, escape so easily. Nian Shu said, "I need to go home and change." "Then change here," he countered. Nian Shu went to his bathroom, only to discover it had no door. She exclaimed, "This room has no door? Is that necessary?" Li Teng smirked. "Okay, we all know what they want to do next, right? No peeking, okie dokie." He then went out to take a swig of alcohol to prepare himself. One moment, Li Teng was boasting about helping her dry her hair. The next, he was face to face with her, getting intimate. Li Teng said no more, but he was a smooth talker. "You're pretty good at this." The next day, Li Teng prepared a romantic breakfast for Nian Shu. "Nian, wake up." Nian Shu pretended to be deaf. Li Teng said, "Nian Shu, I'm giving you 2 choices. 1, you get up and have breakfast with me. 2, I will come to bed with you." Nian Shu quickly got up, saying, "There's no one as shameless as you. What happened to your morals?" Just as she grabbed a pillow to hit him, Li Teng pinned her down. "Finally, I've caught up to you." Seeing his affectionate expression, Nian Shu thought, being with Li Teng is the greatest happiness. Li Teng rewarded her with a surprise kiss. To formally date Nian Shu and to protect her, Li Teng swiftly went to meet her parents. Her parents loved him. Both urged her to marry him. Nian Shu said, "This is like a roller coaster." Li Teng took Nian Shu to a private room and slyly pressured her to get married. Just dating without marriage is unsustainable. "You tricked me into sleeping with you. Don't you want to marry me?" Seeing Nian Shu hesitate, Li Teng used his tried and true method of kissing to persuade her. Her mother entered with fruit, becoming an unexpected third wheel. The atmosphere became awkward, and they could only blush. Though they had her parents' blessing, the wedding preparations still needed to be done. Li Teng sent someone to pick up Nian Shu. The master of romance had prepared a romantic scene for his girlfriend. He asked his best friend to witness their love. He held a lighter, solemnly knelt down and proposed. "Nian Shu, will you marry me?" Nian Shu readily agreed. Finally, they could live happily ever after. Nian Shu asked a tough question. "What do you like about me?" Li Teng cleverly asked, "What do you like about me?" After some hesitation, Nian Shu replied, "Handsome, tall, 6-pack abs, enough to keep me entertained for 10 years. Actually, like most guys, Li Teng didn't know what he liked about her. He only knew their feelings deepened over time. A week later was their wedding. But someone was about to throw a wrench in the works. Tuo Li, the man from the military base 5 years ago, who had secretly loved Nian Shu. This man, Tuo Li, had forced Nian Shu into a wedding dress, bound her, and even planted a time bomb under the chair she was sitting on. His goal was revenge against the man who stole Nian Shu's heart. It turned out he'd harbored a secret love for Nian Shu since he was 10. Abandoned by his father to a gang as a child, Tuo Li's world had been consumed by darkness, until Nian Chu's appearance changed everything. Tuo Li threatened Li Teng, saying, "Want to save Nian Chu? You have to kill my 3 brothers." Li Teng offered Tuo Li the coin in his own life, but Tuo Li refused to compromise. A fierce battle erupted. Nian Chu wept, her tears falling like rain. Tuo Li's reaction was almost manic. He wiped the tears from her face and inhaled the scent of the cloth. Then, like a god descending from the heavens, Li Teng appeared. It turned out that Jiang Hao had been impersonating Li Teng on the security cameras. From the beginning, they had switched identities. "You dare to challenge the handsome Jiang Hao?" Jiang Hao sneered. "Go to hell, loser." The enraged Tuo Li, having been tricked, attacked Li Teng while he was untying Nian Chu, pinning him against the wall. Nian Chu screamed, trying to stop the fight. She cried, "Keep fighting, and you'll both be hurt." These thugs were no match for Li Teng. He effortlessly disarmed Tuo Li, sending him sprawling. The bomb's timer showed 2 minutes left. "Now comes the heartfelt confession," Li Teng said to Nian Chu, his eyes intense. "Meeting you is a blessing. I'd give you my life for your smile. I'll fight for both of us." At the critical moment, Li Teng successfully disarmed the bomb. Li Teng, with a large entourage, arrived at the theater to fetch Nian Chu. "In that white dress, you're the most beautiful." Li Teng took Nian Chu's hand, and they fled the theater, getting married on a motorcycle, holding each other tight. "Thank you for being the lighthouse in my dark night. Being loved by you is my greatest fortune." In a flash, they reached the wedding hall, exchanging a passionate kiss before everyone. After their wedding, they lived happily ever after, raising a son and a daughter. Okay, that's the end of the movie. Please take 3 seconds to subscribe and support us. Thank you for watching our channel. See you in our next movie.